We have open response questions. We do follow our core Kentucky content. And when our scores come back, for instance, this month, 40% of our students achieved a proficient level in math, and the other 40% achieved distinguished. We had 0 novices in one area of algebra, high-level math, even for our low-performing students. So it has, to me, it has been the solution of something I've been really concerned about for many years. How do we bring those girls up to where they need to be? So I appreciate Study Island and all that it's done for us.
We saw it last year in the science. Last year, I would say, we've used it in math for a couple of years now, and our math scores have gone up tremendously in the last few years. We're actually at or above the city average, which for a school in our area, which is a high poverty, high, every indicator you want to think of high, for us to be beating the city in math is pretty cool. It's kind of nice. And then in science, we saw a big jump last year, and I think a lot of that was due to the fact that the kids got this reinforcement of the lessons and a reinforcement of what they were supposed to learn. We went literally from having 9% of the kids score level 3 or higher on the New York State Science 8th grade test to 34%. So, I know they were doing better labs, but I think they were also doing better reinforcement, using it as a method to help reinforce what they were teaching in the classroom.
Well, I first became acquainted with Study Island about 3 years ago. I was the director of instruction in the South region in the Philadelphia School District. We had 34 schools we were in charge of. We began to use Study Island just as a pilot program in several of the schools, who ultimately began to make AYP, or Average Yearly Progress, which is the state of Pennsylvania standard for excellence. We began to explore more and more that all of our schools should be using it, and then we started to see success after success. When I became the principal of Meredith School this year, it was a no-brainer for me.
I think it's going to be a big help with our AYP, because Mr. Brown is a great math teacher, wonderful, and he really works hand in hand with our 3, 4, and 5 grade level teachers. And what he does is actually, he does the planning piece of that, so he knows the skills that teachers are working on. He coordinates those same skills that they're using in the classroom for kids to practice on for their weekly Study Island. So it's not a disconnect of skills. It's something that they've already been taught, and they continue to practice that, which makes the program wonderful. And again, you do see the improvement over time, that kids are mastering the skills, they are doing a good job. And then Mr. Brown says, okay, if they are not getting, the 80%, they can go back and practice. So he kind of goes over that entire piece for our teachers, and our kids love it, and anything that keeps them focused and keeps them learning is going to be a plus for our AYP. So I'm sure we're going to be making our AYP goal this year.
I have teachers who have transitioned their teaching to use it as the foundation of their instruction for reading and mathematics and science. And so a minimal requirement in the Westchester Area School District is proficiency on the PSSA. And we have teachers who have not produced not proficient students since using Study Island.
In 5th grade, last year, 84% of our students met or exceeded standards in reading, and 97% met or exceeded standards in mathematics. 5th grade began using Study Island on a regular basis. We went from 84 to 92% met or exceeded standards last year in reading. And in math, we were at 100% met or exceeded standards, so we're excited.
For 2 consecutive years, I tracked my AIMS scores, whether they met, exceeded, or approached on the AIMS, and what percentage of Study Island they had done. And there was a direct correlation. The more Study Island the students completed, the higher their AIMS scores were.
I've done some really pretty sophisticated spreadsheets on Study Island. What I did was I downloaded all of our student use of Study Island and their ribbon count per first quarter, and I compared it to their performance on AIMS last spring to see if there was a correlation between students who are earning ribbons and students who are still not motivated to use the program. And there was a clear correlation between students who get meets and exceeds on our state tests. They're the ones that are accomplishing all of their ribbon goals every quarter just like they're supposed to. And students who tend to struggle here academically aren't as motivated to earn blue ribbons, and their performance on Ames was not meets, it was approaches and falls far below. Last year we had a great success story with science. I believe we were the only school in the district to purchase science for our 8th graders. Our 8th graders last year, year one, outperformed students in our district as well as the state, and 71% of our 8th graders earned exceed the first time on the Ames test, and the state average was 28%. So to have, we credit practice on Study Island with our students' success. They familiarized themselves, they were familiar with the format of the questions, and the teacher had a great idea of where they were based on their performance on Study Island.